What's up, everybody? Nick Blazer back here with the second chance semifinals between Ralf Jonas and Christos Groutsos. I hope I know how to pronounce Greek like that. But yeah, I'm joking. I shared on Facebook. It's the Ralf Jonas show this weekend. This will be the fourth match in a row that we've done with him. Super strong player, and really excited to get to see a lot of his stuff online for sure. So we know he's going to bring a tough game. I think the worst match he played was about a 3.5, played like a 2 and a 3 otherwise. So always come in with really sharp stuff. Christos Groutsos, not someone I'm as familiar with. So I'm excited to see what kind of play he's got. Of course, like a big field in Greece, probably a lot of strong players that I haven't seen before. And, you know, with half the field made up of Greek players roughly, I'm excited to see what they have to offer, you know, some unknown names that don't travel as much. Maybe this is going to be one of them. But this being the second chance semifinals means the loser of this match and the other semifinals match will finish in 4th and 5th place. And so I've got the prize pool up here out of the €32,000 prize with 87 entrants. They're going to take home, it looks like 4.5% each. So standing to win probably about 1,500 worst case here, and playing on for a lot bigger. Up top is going to be that 40,000, which is going to be over 10,000 euros, more like 12,000 euros or something like that for the winner of the whole tournament. So the additional future equity is what's really at stake here. And of course, but everyone's already in the prize, so everyone's going to be a little bit more relaxed with a match like this. We're going to play an 11-point match. We'll see if the players are coming out to the table there. Maybe we have, looks like Ralf is getting set up there too. In the semifinals and finals of the second chance bracket, they're 11-point matches. And then our grand finals tomorrow will be a 17-point match. As I mentioned, 87 entrants, many countries represented. You can check out the brackets too. I can show you some of their path here real quick. Let's hop over to that. If I bring that up here. So who has Christos had, what has his path been? I haven't seen as checked on him. We've already seen Ralf Jonas just got kicked out in the undefeated finals and won his quarterfinals match apparently. But let's see if we can find, here he is. So Groutsos made it through another Greek player I'm not familiar with, and Lila in the early rounds, and lost to a Romanian here. Is this Romanian? I can't remember. I forget the flag. My bad. But when we go over here to the second chance bracket, where does he show up here? Not in this one. So all these bracket links are in the description of the video. But so we can see he made it through another Greek player here, through Norwegian teammate there, and then where did we end up over here in the quarterfinals? So he ended up having to play Elaine Babylon. Oh, look at this. It's been a long road here. Groutsos having to beat another German player here, finish, and the French Elaine Babylon to get here. So long road, many matches being played for each of them. We'll get back to see if we're like on the screen there. But yeah, go browse through that, see all the player pool. There's a lot of strong names in there that these players have had to work through to get to this point. We are down to the undefeated finalist, which is who won? Man, how am I blanking on this? Was it Nodar Gagua? Yeah, that's who beat Ralf Jonas and knocked him to the other bracket in the last match I watched. So he's in the finals for sure, and we're with these 4 players remaining to determine who's going to move on to the finals as well, to at least the finals of the second chance. So we're down to 5 players in the tournament remaining. Who is it on the other side of the semifinals? I want to look at that real quick. It looks like it might not be determined on the brackets here yet if I haven't refreshed it. But it looks like Martin Barkwell is playing an Israeli player I don't recognize, and it could be Dirk Schiemann on the other side against a Greek player as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that side of the bracket shakes out. Definitely keep an eye on that to see who the winner of this is going to have to face in the next round. I'll be back with that second chance finals after this as well, of course. That one, I think they'll take a dinner break after this and come back at 10 p.m. Greek time, 2 p.m. my time. So we should have a little separation in feeds here again. But yeah, as soon as the players are over by the board and everything like that, we're going to get started. I'm going to keep an eye on that feed for you. We should be get going any moment. Oh, we have Ralf coming over here. I want to see if his opponent is over there too. But I'm going to send you to a short break again while we wait, and we'll be back with this 11-point match quickly. Stay tuned. All right, we got both players at the board there. Looks like we're about ready to go here. Putting the final touches on the board setup and everything, making sure they got their score sheets, all those things in order. Dice they want to use. Ralf looks ready to go. Business as usual for him. Just winning matches, playing backgammon in all the events. Just another deep run for him. Excited to see what they got. Always nice when we have, like, I mean, I don't know, every type of match is good too, but I like seeing the really tough opponents matched up with some like stylistic players that bring something a little bit different to figure out, get into some unusual situations and kind of, you know, I don't know, just make it tougher on their opponents to figure things out. Looks like we've got Arda there announcing some prizes, making sure that there's no, you know, like any sort of like arrangements they might have. They get to organize that as well, I think. I don't know who else we've got over there on the side. His spokesperson, something like this. Yeah, I love this though. As we get towards the late matches, you know, Arda, the tournament director, is going to be very involved to let them know what's going on, what's at stake, make sure that like everything's all on the up and up. They know what, like, how long a matches they're playing, all these things. Puts like a really, gets good photos and everything like that with everyone. And it feels really special to make it this far. As I mentioned, I think Ralf had to play 6 matches to get to the second chance bracket, has won 1 more. So that's 7 so far in this tournament, 6-1 record. Okay, here they go. So amazing run for him, and probably something similar for Christos. Groutsos, I imagine. Christos is splitter. Okay, which I think might happen to be right at 11 away, or at least at 13 away, yeah. 4-1 is going to hit twice for Ralf for a lack of options. And Christos only gets to enter 1. One 5 is going to cover and split. Okay. Yeah, usually once we put the blot on the ace, we want to make it an asset rather than a liability. 5-3 is going to make the best anchor available in front of that made point. And so Christos' position is solidified. That means Ralf is going to need an anchor of his own as soon as possible. So he's going to step up to the 21 to try to make a nice advanced anchor and then see if his opponent wants to come off the anchor by hitting here. Common theme in the early game to place blots close in front of the anchor like that for purity and to allow us to build better later instead of dumping behind because our opponent's hesitant to hit that anyway. 2-1 is going to anchor up now, and maybe Christos is more willing to come off and hit with the deuce after maybe in the bar point in a little bit of offensive position, but okay, this is just as good. Gets to hop out, extend the prime, 9-pip racing lead. So going to need to make a little more progress to have a correct like theoretical cube, but definite advantage here with full freedom. With an advanced anchor like this too, like the priming potential tends to not be so real here. I think we just play behind, but always got to check to make sure we shouldn't do anything with the 5 point in these. Simple holding game though, we just want to win the race. But yeah, these outfield primes don't tend to hold. We'll see as this position progresses, as long as Ralf is just patient. White's going to do his best to just like bring the structure forward through that anchor, and then he'll have an escape route with a decent race at some point. 6-1. Does Christos want to hit? Is he tempted by the ace? Ralf giving up a little bit there to leave the shot now. Maybe the ace is actually going to help him escape. Not as free as it used to be with the priming structure in front. But what do we want to do here? Yeah, we should take the opportunity to escape. Only one blot behind, blot and board, still have priming structure in front. I guess that all makes sense. And otherwise, we just have to give up our priming structure in our ride home, which doesn't look great either. The race, not so good. So the hit is going to make it more decisive. Even when we get hit, we got a lot of counterplay against this kind of weak structure. Only 9 in the zone. And it's only a 3-point board for now, again, with that tactical liability of the blot and board. And I kind of thought this too. If we aren't going to hit, maybe it's slightly better to, okay, breaking the 9 is the better of the not hitting plays, but going to miss a little bit there. Wants to keep his holding game instead. 5-4. So he can't take advantage, or no shots to hit, so he's just playing quiet. So the 5 must come off the mid. Oh yeah, I don't think he wants to leave the ace anymore, so he can clean that up and cover. Fine play for Ralf. Leaving the ace is actually okay with the 2 blots behind now. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. 6-3 going to clean up to those 2 blots behind and prepare for contact. 5-4, just playing quiet, starting points. Okay. 6-2. That can clear relatively safely from the midpoint by only leaving an indirect, and the indirect comes at a time when there's a blotting board for Ralf, so well timed. 6-4 is going to even out the race again. Oh, how do we have to bury checkers to do it, though? That's going to hurt the race as well. I guess we can't afford to leave a shot here. That's tough. 5-3. Not going to volunteer. Just play quiet and play behind and wait. So he sees the 3 can come in. Maybe there's somewhere else for the 5. Yeah, sure. 5-1. Either has to break the board or give up the midpoint. Neither look attractive. Huge loss in the race. Maybe we could actually, with our 5-point board, hop off the 21. It just looks like more risky to give up the 13. There are some small numbers that are going to attack in some fly shots, but for now it's not. Yeah, I think like parking on the 16 is out of direct range of the 16 as well. This seems reasonable. That's a weird one to spot, but just like for lack of any compelling alternative, he's going to go with that play. Well found by Ralf. And this is going to draw Christos to think about the cube, since if he points on head, he might feel like he's going to lose his market by a lot. Maybe the 7s too, but really I think there's too much work to do with the 3. Wow, it's really close though. This is not the numbers we're used to seeing for a cube by any means. But again, one more of these where just the endgame volatility suggests that this could very well be our last chance and we got to get it in time. What was better with that 6-4? 8-4, 8-2, just clear? Yeah, okay. That does look better for the race when it goes that way. 6-2 gets to safety up those 2 blots and make another point of contact. Beautiful. 2-6, what is this doing? Probably covering the ace with the 6 and then slotting the 5, I guess. And so, yeah, there's a racing lead, but probably a little more wastage risk for Christos. So a little bit for everyone in this one. Ralf wants to pause to count the race. Going to recognize that he's behind and has nothing. Aces. I think we want to keep maximum contact, but maybe we actually need some flexibility. Our opponent appears to have the best timing now. So I guess 13 to 11, hoping to release that in the near future. Yeah. We don't want to let go of the furthest point, though, because it's going to block things like this 6-5 from getting to escape to racing freedom. And is Christos going to start to preserve sixes? No, 2 in. I think, wow, he should, but they're very close. It looks like a lot of wastage for not enough racing lead is the tough part. And this board looks weak enough to volunteer a shot, I think. I think we need the contact to win, and so I just can't stand to give up my 5-point board, and I think I'm going to let the 11 go. And he should actually, I would think, to advance to the 10 to reduce shots. But I guess that increases contact by staying back. He gets the checker and board. I think this is a nice find. There's going to be a lot of returns from the roof. And does Christos have anything? I keep wanting to call him Christoph. All right. Rolling forward safely. And, Ralf left the shot last time because he had to, but doesn't mean he wants to keep the blot there. So he's going to safety that up and rely on his 14-point to do the contact work for him. Hoping for a 6 or a 5 from Christos. No such luck. Gets to delay the shot one more time. Maybe he shouldn't advance 5 to 4 so that he doesn't have to play a 4 next time either. 4s is going to trash the board if we don't just go, and the race is pretty much evened out. So I think it's time to just play 2 in. And we're actually a favorite after that with how against White's speed board, their pips aren't actually counting as well as they look like. But I guess to be certain of this, Ralf is going to have to slow down and assess the wastage. I think if he knew that he was actually down 1 pip, he would assume there's enough wastage to make this play and wouldn't have to count it too close. But I imagine that's what he's double checking before he just leaves the what's it called? Before he leaves the contact. Pretty even game here. What do we have? 6-4. Can bring one directly to the 6. Looks good to me. Somehow 2 crossovers is much better. I don't understand that, but I've seen Ralf do it, so he does. It looks very good to get the perfect crossover there. Maybe 5s don't work or something. I don't know. I really... maybe the ace here I would spend 6 to 5. That one I know. 2-1. No need to have the gap on the 5 anymore. 4-1. It's going to come in. Okay, beautiful distribution after all. Transposes, really. 4-2. Looks like 2 off for Ralf. And 4-1. Still no one with enough advantage to cube. Really tight EPC race. If anything, it looks like Christos. But okay, this is a lot of pips for Ralf. This could change things on a poor roll from Christos, maybe. What does he have? We have 5-2 here. So Ralf has 8 checkers. He has 34 pips, which maybe we assume 8 pips of wastage with like something like this. Nice positions are like 7 to 10. So we can come up with an EPC for him. And what does Christos have? Christos has a 5 roll plus a little bit worse, which should be like 35. Maybe it has more misses than I'm assuming, though. That's tough, though. They should be. I think you can probably get to an EPC assessment that puts him pretty close. So Ralf needs to decide if he's in a 4 roll. He's worse than it, he thinks, so he's going to take the roll and no cube. And Christos is going to have a 4 roll pretty clearly. So what is this for Ralf now? A ton of misses, but I mean, it should be still a 3 roll at worst, pretty much. Like if he misses with a 3-2 here, he's still very likely to get off in 3 rolls, and he has ways to get off in 2 rolls. So I think his EPC can't be much. Feels like it should be around that usual 3-roll 22, and we see that 22.8 up there. And a 3-roll should be a double and often a pass. This might be a little bit different, but yeah, we see same cube action there. If we had 6 checkers each on the ace, then he should let it go by a decent margin. Similar margin here. It's a little bit better for white, but still enough for Ralf to just claim. And we're going to go to 11 away, 10 away. Ralf is the first one on the board. Probably feels good to have a match lead after never having one in the undefeated finals. Oh, he does some checker shuffling like he plays some poker or something too. Did you guys catch that with the hand? It's a little like flick with the thumb. Christos suggests that he should put the point on the scoreboard. Ralf accepts. Oh, I don't like that. I gotta adjust the player cam for you guys. 4-6 to open is a splitting roll. 2-1 gets to hit, and usually we like to reinforce builders with a 13 to 11 after stripping the 8-point. Like that. 5-4 gets to anchor up for Ralf. Nice solid position, and Christos under pressure to split his back checkers now. Also being threatened by that really strong builder on the 9 points. This is looking very good. I think he does need to make the 7 point. Oh, he makes, this is interesting play. Wow, this is a nice find. I wouldn't have thought of this. I guess our opponent doesn't want to come off with that deuce. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, the die is going to spin indefinitely on the checker there. And off it goes. Okay. 5-1, no hit. We're just, oh, he's just going to go for the slot now. Yeah, okay. He's ahead in the race, so does he really need to do that? He'd probably just stack it up, but close option. That's fine. Double sixes. That is going to work pretty well. So 3 of them play nice. And then I guess the last one, yeah, we tend to leave that shot up there because we get returns on the ace that hits. Tough to clean up. 4s can hit and cover. Beautiful shot for Ralf. Finds the gap to hit on the midpoint. And then I guess just steps out too. And commanding leading this position, I guess on fans you would probably have a cube. Maybe some entries too. 2-1 looks like it's going to hit. So a little counterplay for Christos here. Aces. That can... Should it cover the 12 and step up twice? I think seeing the light seems pretty strong. No need to leave the blot either. And our opponent is more likely to want to use an ace to make a point in board or something like that than to cover 10 to 9 anyway. So that should leave us at the edge. The 5-1 is going to get a direct 6. Oh, he's going to link up. Okay, I think making the 5 point. I would have been tempted by 2, but yeah, he finds the best of it by a long shot. Okay, nice find. 2 up to see the light again, and the ace down with the 6 to 5. 2-1. Wow, develops beautifully for Christos. And now Christos with a commanding lead in this position. 1 checker by a 5 prime behind a 5 prime is usually too much. But Christos does still have a lot of work to do to escape those 3 checkers from the 18. I'd still be thinking about it here. Yeah, we have a borderline cube, but he's going to roll right past it. And he wants to break his 5 prime. That's surprising to me. Can that possibly be right? I would, yeah, I probably would have done this like slotting thing, even though it seems a little aggressive. But I don't want to give up my biggest asset here. And it's not so scary for my opponent to hit me off the edge. 3's gained some flexibility. I like that play for Ralf. And then could play 8 to 2. Okay, a little better to play off the other point. 2-1 develops nicely. Happy with his flexibility play with the 4-2 now that it turns into a 5 prime anyway. Once again. Well, the 5 is nice to cover, and then there's no deuce. So what do we do about that? Got to break some point. And it looks like he's generally supposed to pass here anyway. Same idea with this 5 prime. He's going to take some time to think about this. Maybe I can fix your player cam while he does. How's that look? Better. Okay, what did he end up doing? He broke the 6 to do it? Yeah, that makes sense. Looks like it's going to rebuild the best. Christos pausing to think about this cube. Ralf has a borderline decision. I have a feeling that his tendency is to let these go and play solid and just see more games. We'll see what he wants to do here. Definitely not fun to try to win this behind a 5 prime, though. Beautiful. So this should even out the match. It's hard to, I mean, when you have a 14 pip racing lead, you have to imagine that if he can just scramble out, oh, he is going to take this and see if his opponent can figure out how to come home. Maybe if I'm playing player adjustments and I see that my opponent was fairly happy to give up the 5 prime from the back, I think I've got a little bit of extra equity in a game like this. I don't know if Ralf thinks this way. But yeah, when you have a chance to just escape and win the race still with like the lead like this, then, I mean, he's not losing a ton of gammons here either for the most part. His opponent still has work to do. Maybe he could have bought time catching a checker coming off the 18 or something like that, but he's 6 prime now. So we'll see. I mean, he's got some interesting extra big. Why not just give up the 8 here would be my idea. Oh, he can volunteer the deuce now because it's the safest time to do it. This just shifting behind seems strange to keep contact. But it's not too far off. Must be some reason for it. Maybe we can just make the midpoint there. 13-8 is better. Okay. Can go for the closeout sooner. 3-1 still stubbornly not leaving any blots. 6 likely to hit off the edge. If we can close out right now, we're going to win a lot of gammons with 18 pips outside. If we let our opponent clear those points, then they save a lot of gammons. And this is why I thought it might be important to clear the 8 or the, I mean, even the 13 there made sense for that reason. Checker just doesn't want to slide for him. I don't see any other 6 there. So looking to fade a couple 6s and 5s from the roof. Otherwise, this should help him crash elegantly and save a lot of gammons. Is there any sense in hitting off the edge? I guess because your opponent doesn't hit you from the roof as often. So maybe that does buy you time. But of course, 2-1 would be nice to make the 6 with. Even though we're just going to like kind of crack it soon anyway. I don't really know. Maybe we should just hit to buy some extra time. This is a weird one. We're just trying to figure out what's going to get us closest to crashing gracefully and not ending up with more checkers behind, getting checkers home, not losing a gammon. Not the kind of backgammon decisions you're hoping to be making by any means. And at least he can end up generating a speed board too and win a lot of games that way. By just entering once the 6 point opens up quickly. And 2-1. I guess he's got a decision again. I'm just pointing on head. But he could like pick and pass and maybe leave less shots that way. So if he makes the 6, he's going to leave 5-3 and 5-2 and 5-6 from the roof. Probably nothing more, but I think that's mostly tactics there. I presume that's the play we'd end up finding. 4-2. And 6-4 now. I think that one can... Does it even want to hit and continue? We just want our checkers in and for our opponent to start like entering and leaving. So I don't think it does want to hit. I think maybe we can just play 6 in, 8-2. And then, yeah, to the 11 like this. I guess, okay. Seems to buy a little extra time and not leave a shot. Let's play the other way. So I guess that makes sense in the short term. And does definitely risk some cracking numbers here. 3-2. Does it make any sense to clear the 6 first? Yeah. Leaves very few shots and makes sure we don't like have awkward cracking rolls, bad aces or 6s or 5s, or bad 5s or anything like that. 6-3. Okay. And 5-6 for Christos. Yep, happy to stay there. See if we can shake loose another checker. Ralf just looking to clear that 6 now. 6 what? 6-4 is not what he was looking for. That's one of them. And there's the ace to pick it up. Okay. Gammon's on now. 2 is in range of attacking off the edge. And Ralf looking for a deuce, just as good. And I think he needs to clear the 4 point, but that's going to open up the trap play pretty, like, I mean, only a 3 point board is not much to fear. So Christos should be looking for ways to clear the 7 points and allow his opponent to break their anchor and pick up both those checkers and close them out. I don't know if last roll was the time to do it. 5-5 is not going to be the time to do it. Just shuffling in from the back. Okay. We hate having a spare on the 7. And now that we don't have a checker back in the inner board, it's harder to stay back and contain to make sure we pick up that checker when it leaves. So trap idea is dwindling. Yeah, 2 in seems strong. So not a lot of gammons in this position we can see. Only like 10%. Ralf quite likely to save it from that 23 point. Tough for him to win as well with his poor board. Ends up going with the 2 in. Nice find. 5-1. He's going to put another spare on the ace. Not quite close to shaking another checker free. 4-3 wants to clear one of the points. He's going to clear from the rear. I'm not sure. Both have merit there. I guess that puts a checker in the gap. I kind of like that about it. 4-1. And 6-6 is going to leave a shot. Ralf can still win if he hits this, I suppose. A lot of scrambling to do afterward. 2-1 is going to clear the 3. Well, if you're going to get a deuce, at least not leaving a blotting board is nice. 6-3. Maybe we actually want to play the 3 to the 3 point. Yeah, and take the 6 off the outside. I like this. I think we need that spare there because we're out of 3s to play. Ralf running all the way with that 6-3. Forced move. And 5-3 leaves a shot. Does he prefer to hit or take a checker off? In this range, it feels like take a checker off is stronger. I'm wrong, though. They're very close. Okay. Doesn't always clean this up. But his opponent can enter high and just break contact entirely. I was just thinking if he's hit, he'd rather have the 5 checkers off is a lot different than 4 off. Maybe that's the wrong thing to be thinking about here, apparently. Apparently it's the wrong thing to be thinking about. Ralf playing his usual perfect stuff. Pretty much. Five, 3. Not a lot of gammon thread here. Ended up closer than expected, though. I think everything takes off here. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some misser. 3-3. And I think even 3-3 gets there. What could miss? 5-1 does not. He's going to resign a single game. And 2 points is going to take us to 9-away, 10-away. So Christos now your match leader by a small margin. What do we have for the opening here? A 4-2. Okay. One of the best rolls in the deck to start. Pointing numbers are great. 3-1 is the greatest. And splitting in response to pointing is common to challenge that stripped 8 point. 2-3 could either split as well or reinforce it. I don't really want to leave fly shots in the outfield, so I kind of, okay, I'm a ways off, but yeah, the split is best here. Interesting. 4-4 is going to point on head, and then, yeah, why not make another board point while our opponent's in the air? And 9 in the zone is going to make a pretty threatening position on awkward fans. 2-1 is going to enter deep and make the 11. And never mind about splitting for Christos. I think he's going to stay on that 24 point for a while now. He's under a lot of attacking threat. His opponents made deep points has material in the zone, and so it looks more of like a blitzing threat than like a priming threat. In those cases, you want to have the 24. Ralf can't do a whole lot with this 6-2. I guess he can hop out and try to make progress home with his racing lead and cover the 11. That's a valuable asset against the open 5-point. 6-5. So we weren't splitting, but we could just run. We could also hit twice. If we just run, we're in a losing race. Down 6 pips with a single checker back. It doesn't seem like the way to get back in the game. But hitting twice is, I mean, we're playing for contact against a better board, but there's another blot out there. Hitting twice looks like it can work. I think we should go for it. Yeah, and so we're like a small favorite after that play even, where I think we should be fairly clearly a little bit underdog after just running. Very nice play by Christos, I think. (5-4) only going to enter one, and is this enough pressure to think about a cube? Probably not, still back on the 24 point. But we're winning a lot of gammons when this works. Ace has got to try again, I think, and then are we... Yeah, I guess now's the time to split. If we get hit by one of these from the roof, well, at least we can make the 22 point or something like that. Double fours is going to fan. Wow, and this is huge now. This looks like very gammonish. Strong cube, and can Ralf even take this? I don't think so. Getting closer to too good. I wouldn't have paused to think about that with all the work to go, but I guess we can think about taking a roll. We're just so likely to clean up here. Ralf happily going to pass this one and move on to 8 away, 10 away. Both of them playing a perfect game in that one. That's really good stuff. Love to see it. Love to see it when the players are figuring all the puzzles out. (5-3) going to make a point, okay. And 5-4 is going to split in response, I do believe. And Ralf looking to attack on the 20 point. 5-4 cannot do that, so I think it'll just split in response as well. What else is there? Oh, yeah, I forget about this idea of playing down to the 9. When your opponent split to the 20, then the 4s that hit are duplicated with the 4s that anchor. So that 4 is so strong already that we don't mind putting a checker there. But when our opponent split, we want to make an anchor too. So slightly still more strategically sound to do that, but the tactics make it a close option. 3-1 points on head. Okay. Should be a sizable advantage for Christos in this game now. What can Ralf come back with? 2-4, not much. Maybe he enters deep with the 2, so he can step both up and try to make a high anchor, or he could take advantage of that 4 idea with 13-9 again. Getting a little bit too much with his opponent having a strong board, though. 5-1. I guess it wants to hit. Yeah, what other options does it have? It's a weak hit. We want to hit off the high point, of course, but what can you do? 1 in, and I guess the 6 is just going to run. Ralf in a position where he's just trying to get away with one now. 2-6 can anchor up. If it does, it can't cover the blot. What is our 6 otherwise, though? Is just running? I don't know. Okay. So he's right to just make that board point, or that anchor, sorry. 5-1, we can put the blot in front of the anchor that our opponent just made, see if they want to come off it, duplicate 3s to cover. 3-5 can hit and cover, though. That seems kind of nice. And there's still a blot and board even if he gets hit back. I think I would go for it. Seems like a nice time. And poor entries could easily lead to a cube here. Is this poor enough? It hits. He's shooting from the roof at everything. Doesn't everything hit? It feels like a lot of volatility on this roll. I don't have time to think about whether it would be a cube or not, but yeah, big swing. So we hit the 5 from the roof. The 3, I guess, can just clean up and try to get to a cube. I don't think we need to do anything too crazy. Wow, I'm surprised by the 13-10. Maybe he does have more work to do than I realize. Opponent very likely to enter on the 21 perhaps, but then how does it help to have a blot in the outfield? Gets a fan out of it. This is huge threats. Maybe it could even be too good here. Yeah, massively too good. And Ralf going to let this go. Yeah, I mean, just has the world after a fan there, after those unlucky quarter of the deck. And we're going to get a pass. So Christos is going to let him off the hook on that one a little bit, and we're going to go to 7 away, 10 away. Had him on the hook for more and let him away with just 1 point. All right, 6-4. At this score, maybe it could start running, but he likes to split apparently. I've seen a lot of players elect to split in this match or in this tournament. It's interesting. 5-1, we tend to hit with and like reinforce on the bar with only 8 in the zone, though the 6-5 can hit loose on the ace too. This is going to return fire from the bar. 3s, gets to point on the 5. Beautiful. And the last one, I don't know. It can just clean up, I guess, or it could split again. Maybe I'd just split again when we have our opponent on the roof. I like to go for bigger things like this too. I don't. It just feels weird and stiff and front-loaded to play 8-5 after this. But I can see I've got blots everywhere. So why do I want to leave all this around? Christos. Is he going to hit from the roof? No. Yeah, that's a hit from the roof. And then point on head 2. Wow, what a response. Okay. Now he's the one leading this game. With 4 back for Ralf. So maybe there's some adjustment. Okay, never mind. Let's not talk about cubes so quick. Ralf is going to hit twice. It's his turn after making the 20-point anchor. Huge jokers in this game. And Ralf likely to have a cube incoming with blots all over the place. Only a small racing lead. So many behind. Oh, and he fans with 2 on the roof. This has to be a cube for sure. Does he think his opponent's passing anyway next time if he can pick one up and they enter 2? Maybe. What is he hits with 4, 1, 6? Feels like we should cube on threats, but it could be getting close to like a free roll. Yeah, we're right on the borderline. Huge gammons there, but he's just going to claim it. And another 1-point game. 7 away, 9 away. Four two going to open with a nice pointing roll. 4-3 is going to split past that and try to establish the Kyrian anchor. The 20-point. And 4-1 is going to try to prevent it. Hit and probably bring a checker down for a cover. I like that. Splitting, of course, always a nice theme in the opening. 3-2 is going to take the checker off the 20, and they're going to keep up with this battle for that 20-point. White's offensive 5, Black's defensive 20. 4-3 could make an anchor, but it's a weaker anchor than the one they're fighting for, so I think he's going to go for it again. Enter deep and hit with the 4. 3-3 cannot return, but it can point on head, or at least hit loose. Oh yeah, but it can make the 10 with it, so I think this is pretty strong. Could have thought about making the 5 and hitting loose or something like this. And 3-6 is going to fan. Wow. Double shot to send a 4th back. Good structure. I think this is enough to send an interesting early cube. Still a lot of work to do, so it feels like pretty takeable. And not a lot of match adjustment going on. This is pretty normal cube action, but Christos doesn't like it. Wants to protect his 2-point lead and just going to let this one go. Too gammonish. Understandable how you could arrive at that conclusion, but, you know, Ralf still has 2 back, only has the 1 board point, has a lot of work to do before this is really lights out. And Christos, like worst case, always has this 24-point anchor. So he has a lot of play in this position, really, in the long run, too, you know? And maybe in the short term, I mean, he can turn it around pretty quickly from there, I think. 2-1 is going to slot. We're at 7 away, 8 away. 4-3 gets the hit, and we often like to step up with the second one, too, after hitting loose and all the shots that are coming back on the 20. And then we either hit the blot back or establish an anchor. It's a nice time to fight for it. Ralph's going to keep fighting for the advanced anchor. And now we can see after plays like that, White doesn't have advanced anchor slotted anymore. So Christos immediately going to go for the tempo hit to try to prevent him from covering. That seems pretty deep. 5 enters and covers anyway. And now he's got that block committed to the deuce when he could have just run and distracted or something like this. 2-1 can anchor up and duplicate the 4s. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe he could hit loose too. 13-10 to just make the point is a little stronger. Interesting. Not so concerned about the 22 because it's a weaker anchor with the racing lead. And also his opponent has 3 back, so less attacking threat than usual. 6-5 is really a pretty weak roll in this position. I think we probably just run 24 to 13. Maybe we want to split or something. And maybe 13 to 8 really should be part of it. The 20 to 9 would not have been my idea. I don't know. But it's close in there. 4-1 gets to make the 5 points. Doesn't even think about covering the deuce instead to prevent shots. Just too valuable of a piece of structure. And Ralf, after slotting the 9 point, gets to make the blocking point in front of the 22. So that was part of the value of that 20 to 9 play that he played. Slotted an important point against this particular anchor. 6-3 can cover and hit loose. I think just attacking seems pretty strong here. Better board and all. Only 9 in the zone though. But he's going to have to do something to buy him time to escape this 22 point. And a lot of work to do against black structure there. So no cube incoming here, I don't think. Maybe he's the favorite though. Yeah, looks like it after this. And he gets to cover. What is Ralf doing there? It looks like a 4 or something. 4-6, okay. That is going to hop out one way or the other. I don't think we're going to put an extra checker into play, so sure. Just tries to run away with it. Seems fine. Stays away from provoking on the high 4 point as well. 3-1 is going to send that checker back once more. No strong preference between 10 to 9 or 6 to 5. Oh, he should split for mobility. Okay, I totally missed this. Yeah, now he has more numbers to escape that blocking structure. Now's the time to do it. Our opponent's on the board or on the roof against a 4 point board. I think the 5's just down. I don't think he can afford to attack against such strong structure. But he has the 24 point. Still no cube incoming. And he earns the chance to escape with that 21 to 10. Well played. That was a very good split by the Christos there. 4-3. He has the timing for the ace point, so I don't think he's under pressure to split here. Needs to focus on those back checkers however he can. This seems like a fine way to do it, sure. When our opponent doesn't run with the big 4, now we're building very well, maybe making the bar point. 6-2 cannot run yet, but it can make the 4 point. Pretty nice improvement for Christos. And a 6-1. No bar point gained. What are we supposed to do with this? Just slot? Yeah, sure, okay. I guess when we're missed, I like how this follows up. We're going to get covered a lot. And look at this. The actual situation is just that. With the 5 point board, this is going to be too much regardless. Ralf going to pass another one. This is tough for me to see, but I guess it makes sense. Has 2 behind the priming structure, threatening a 3rd back. Ton of gammons here. Can just escape with a 4-2. Looks pretty strong for white. And 6 away, 8 away. Maybe they're going to play maximum games, but play them very quickly anyway. And what do we have? A 6-4 to open. For Ralf with the trailing scoreline, I feel like he should want to make the 2. But he's a splitter. Likes the games that develop, I suppose. Not going to like it after this roll, necessarily. Not that he likes anything, really, after double 6s. Hoping to make an advanced anchor here to fend the cube off. 3-1 will probably just enter on the 22 and slot the 5. I don't think he can afford to camp back on the 24. This, you can study this double 6s open and get pretty sharp with it too. It's just like, as soon as white has a board point against your no anchor and you don't have one, then he's got a double. If you can make an anchor, of course, then you've got a mutual holding game. But as long as you keep your board stronger too, you're doing well enough against this. So it's pretty easy to find plays like that, I think. And leaving checkers in the outfield against this 18 is just fine too. 4s are going to make a... Oh, is he going to make a point on head or just escape to the raise? Yeah, this must be much better. We're just going to have a cube like all the time after this, right? Even if our opponent anchors. And why do we want to leave fly shots and destroy our 8 point and still leave a bunch of work to do? I think I like this idea. They're very close. We win a ton more gammons when we go for the attack. We can do the little bit of both play too. But this is a common theme when we haven't sent the cube yet. At a leading score too. Why not play a simple game? and just get somewhere where we're going to have a massive racing lead and almost always have a very efficient cube, at least eventually. We might not immediately, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to leverage the cube value a lot more effectively when we haven't sent it this way. Here we just overshoot it. You can see 72% and 31%. So best case, he's going to go on too good, or he's just going to have a bunch of overage and cash that way, something like that. Doesn't mean it's not worth getting to a too good position necessarily, but yeah. So this 0.998 equity just shows you how just all the time he's going to get a very nice cube. Just about always. So 2 down. He ships it. What does Ralf want to do with this? He can just let it go. Yeah. Losing way too often, and some gammons with not having the anchor, even with no points in board. And we're going to quickly let another one go. 5 away, 8 away. Once again, when we're trailing, I think we should start going for 2 down kind of plays, but they're very close here. Ralf prefers the split. Maybe the split leads to more complicated games for him, or simpler games, like games that he knows how to play. Notice he gets into plenty of like quiet kind of racing and holding games. Knows what to do from there. Shows you that you can keep backgammon simple if you want. It's as simple as you want it to be. For sure, we're making the 5 point. And then the last 2, I don't know. No strong preference. Maybe I come up to the 9. Yeah, shuffling checkers and back just feels kind of strange to me. But Ralf knows. 6-2. I would have been hit. But I think maybe Ralf's going to get hit on the 5 point anyway, for lack of options. Oh, we can hit on the deuce instead. That's very strange. I would not have thought of that. Some sort of tactics and duplication of deuces, maybe. 5 hits, 2 can establish the 11. Why not? And Ralf off to a strong lead in this game already. Maybe going to have a cube here, kind of regardless of what we get from Christos. This looks like it's going to have to hit loose somewhere, and we can make the 4 points if we hit loose on the deuce. So, oh, we don't have to hit loose at all if we play this way. I don't know why we'd want the deep point, though. It's enough to keep the cube off, though, and then 3-6 is going to return fire from the bar. 4 checkers back, down or leading in the match and all these things. I think pretty strong cube incoming from Ralf, most likely. He can enter on the ace and make the 21, and he has 2 anchors now, and the threats go away quite a bit. But 4 checkers back is going to leverage the gammons a lot. I think, yeah, probably worth sending this and actually find a pass at the score because of the asymmetric gammon price, lack of recap, cube value, all that. Very interesting. I'm not sure I would have known to adjust that much at this score. Fine take at normal scores. 4-2. 7 away, 5 away. 5-3 gets the point in response. 2-5 is going to play 2 down because we can't touch the back checkers. 6-2. Decision. Maybe playing to the 7 duplicates well. 6-1, 6-3, 6-4 all do awesome things. 6-5, 6-6. 6-2 is the only one we really add. And when we run with it, maybe, I guess if we run to the 16, then we give like new good 4s and 2s. It seems like too many numbers. Park on the 18, we hate to be pointed on when he makes that too, but maybe it's a good distraction play. But in the end, my instinct is something like 22 and 7 here, I guess. I don't know. Oh, we can just slot 2. Okay, I actually like that a lot better. Yeah, of course. All right, he's just going to go for the split, though. Always a reasonable candidate in these kind of spots. 2-2. Cannot do any of the pointing we talked about, but it does get to hit. Aces gets to make the 5 point and probably split. Though I don't know. Against 11 in the zone, maybe that's not what we want to do. Maybe we want to stay tight here and play 11 to 10 for building. They're very close. He's also under a lot of priming threats, so arguments to be made both ways. Double threes is going to, wow, this can do everything. It can hit, it can advance the anchor, it can make the 5, it can make a 4-point board, it can make a 7 to 3 prime. I'm leaning towards anchor and 5 point. I like that. Must be a candidate, but it's a little bit better not to leave the direct 6 off the bar, or off the 24. Okay. Understandable. 2-1 going to clean up. And I love Christos' position. 5 away, 7 away. I'm not sure if I can send a cube or not. Oh, huge improvement there, too. He's going to make the 5 prime instantly instead of stepping out to the bar point. Okay. Okay. I would have had to spend some time on that. Double sixes is going to overrun Ralph's position, and now we just have this nice priming position where our opponent can never split. This feels dead. Maybe we have enough work escaping this prime that we should cash it instead of playing on, but I don't really see a lot of risk on this one. Yeah, so we got a small technical, too good pretty much. It seems like we should make the 6 prime almost always and just be able to cash later if we need to. And for now, we can hope to win a little bit more. 4s is going to crash a little further. Christos ready for a 6 or a 5 to hop out. He gets it. 5 out, maybe 4 in, just in case our opponent wants to split with an ace or something like that. And to help us slot the front. Yeah, 6-1 can clear the 7, cover the blot behind, give him some options next time for attacking if he needs to. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd want to slot or not. It could allow our opponent's kind of happy to hit with this ace just to get up to the edge and maybe advance the anchor. I'm not certain it's worth it. Maybe Ralf should just be patient and crash instead, but I would try it. Yeah, he should. Takes the bait. And risks being closed out instead, on those unlikely sequences where our opponent gets a little bit of luck there. But he gets his wish and advances the anchor, saves a bunch of gammons in the process. Down to like 16% now. 4-1 is just going to play behind. Trying to not leave shots while he cracks. Always stuck behind a 6 prime though. It's tough to turn this one around. And 4-5. Enters and hops out for maximum mobility, sure. And 6-1. Forced to break a point behind, I think. 3-2, yeah. That's not great. 4-1. Just shuffling checkers in the outfield. Can't be too big of a difference. 5-2 cannot clear safely. Gonna have to leave the 2 shot. Gets to cover the 3-point blot though. And no such luck. Christos can keep waiting around though. 6 around, 5 in, sure. Hope our opponent can't clean up or has to shake loose the 5-point as well. 6-1 is going to reinforce the 5-point. Nice shot for him. 6-5 probably needs to go now. We can't afford to get too front-loaded and waiting around for this shot. We need to still make sure our structure is okay as we bear in. Double ace is going to improve the cracking situation a little further. Closes the gap. Makes it so 5s don't play either. This looks like 2 checkers in. Gonna play behind instead. Okay. Some distribution tactics there. I'm not sure what that was. Ace is gonna play 4-3, and now we're down to a 3-point board, hoping to clean this up quickly before any shots are involved. 5-1. Maybe this is just 9-4 and 6-5. Yeah, I like that. That looks like really nice distribution. You should cover though. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure why we would play all the way to the 3 instead. Must be some idea there though. 5-4 is a fan. And now he wants to think about, well, I have numbers that could leave a shot or something, not win any gammons. Maybe I should just claim. Gets it in well timed. And Ralf gonna let this go. And on we go to 4-way, 7-away. Oh, reminds him to take the point. Nice of him. 6-2 is going to split. Standard opening stuff. One of these funky scores where the increased gammon value makes it so that Christos can still find early gammonish cubes because he can win the match on that. Has to be slightly more conservative, though, because a recube is going to come so quick. And I think, do we want to give up the midpoint or slot the 5? Either seems okay to me. Kind of felt like we would leave less shots there and give our opponent less progress by leaving the mid. Still a lot of ways to make the 5, but okay, Ralf needs an anchor of his own too, and going to get pointed on head for that split. And if Christos gets away with this, he's going to be in really good shape. 2-6 he does. Better than gets away with this. Wow. Yeah, this seems fine to cube. And I don't even know if Ralf can take it, really. Could be too good kind of territory already, too. When we're in this kind of margin, it feels nice to maybe cash it. Yeah, I don't know. And this also is like not the easiest situation for Ralf to deal with. Does he need to adjust and have enough long-term wins that his recube value is going to be worth it to take this and try to get something back? Or is it just kind of too dead? And I think if he knew that he was winning under 25%, which he might be able to see here with how crashed his position is and everything, he would let it go, and he is going to pass. And Christos going to take himself to 3-away, 7-away now. Interesting how there hasn't been like a lot of blood in this game. It's just been generally one at a time, it feels like. Aces is a nice response from that split. 7-away, 3-away. Really aggressive cubes coming for Ralf. Let's see how he enters. And ace-5 might not be good enough to keep the cube off. This looks like a nice advantage to start. Still should be easy enough for Christos to take. But Christos wants to let it go and protect his lead here too. So this is one of these where classically just not even a cube for normal scores. So we can adjust to a cube, but we shouldn't be adjusting to a pass necessarily. Maybe at 4-way, 2-way, this looks like the numbers. That would actually be like very close to the borderline or something like that. Or a little bit past, yeah. 2-1. I think he's going to split with this. 3-way, 6-away. 3-1 points in response. Four, 3 cannot anchor. I'm really curious to start running a lot of these at 4-way, 2-way now, because my suspicion is that it's still fine. 2 do nothings is just like a do nothing against 3-away, 1-away, or against the 3-1 point. Sorry, probably a cube at 4-way, 2-way. 4-1 is a good response, so they both have the 5-point, but Ralf still got the better of it. And I'd be thinking, feels like we have such a structural advantage that I'd be tempted to get it in there, but he's right to wait. Not quite enough against the split and the strong structure of whites as well. And it is 3-away, so there's still some recube value. 6-2 just going to make a run for it. Okay, contains the outfield too when Ralf runs out there. And down 4 pips in the race. Now he thinks he might have enough swing on hitting numbers. Interesting. I mean, it must still be a pretty easy take, but it could be getting there. Yeah, volatility's looking pretty good, and he's right on the borderline. He's good at it. He senses these well. He's sent some pretty early ones in the match before, but waits on the borderline here. The ace is no good wherever we go. So I guess I want to go for the distribution of 13 to 8 and then 24 to 23. I guess I'm going to have to live with. Wow, but okay, he's right to pause because the gain on slotting the bar when he doesn't roll a 5 is that we've got our opponent 5 primed not at the edge of the prime most of the time after that. So the upside is really huge in a relatively close game like this. So that is, in addition to like blots and kind of play afterwards when we're hit and things like that allow for the slot. We look for slotting plays when they have massive change of the game. That feels like less common that it goes that way. But here's a great example of that kind of position where our slot can basically make us, like, maybe the game's mostly over after that. Our threat to cover that bar point is just massive. Yeah, really impressed watching Ralf play these last 4 matches too. Clearly his understanding of the game very deep. I don't know. Not that I don't think you have to get every play right to like show that. It's just that whenever there's decisions, he's pausing and thinking about him and very aware. 6 comes around and maybe the 5 wants to, well, it could just come in as a builder, but it could try to hop out. I guess it just leaves a lot of shots unnecessarily. Why do we want to be on the bar point here? Yeah. Just coming to the 5 seems fine. And both players looking pretty nice. Well, I mean, both of them hate being on the 23 trying to escape here. And so is Ralf just playing quiet again? Neither of them wants to give up so much racing equity by hopping out to the bar point either. He's actually behind more attackers and threats, so I guess he has more reason. But this surprises me to hop out to the bar point. It seems like the simplest path to victory, but I guess the aces are distracting from making the 4 points. So this is kind of, he gains something here. And Christos not going to fall for the bait, just going to play behind, step up the edge, and try to escape with a racing lead. Okay. I did not necessarily see that coming. I think for Ralf, this is going to be a pretty clear hit off the edge and probably 18 to 15 with it to not give 6s from the bar. But we can't let our opponent escape. We have the better board. They got a blotting board. Everything's kind of pointing to it down the race to this 8 to 3. And let's see how Christos performs from the bar. On a fan, this must just be dead. And does Ralf even need to claim it now? Maybe he could take a roll. He still has a take? What? I guess there's still work to do to come around here. I'm surprised this is so close at the score. Because this feels like not pleasant for money either. I guess it's only 2 pips and there's only 9 in the zone and some big features. But this looks pretty scary to be on the bar against this strong a structure. Surprised that's so weak. Okay. And yeah, so I mean, the pass is still fine though, optional, and we're going to move on to 3-away, 5-away. Getting into our comfortable book scores now. 4 hits, 3 steps up. Okay. No good 6 from the bar here. So the 2 is good though, so it gets to just hop out. Yeah, of course. Bit of an overplay with that loose hit with the 6. Okay. 4-4. Yeah, he seems to make some like more aggressive things. I've seen some interesting plays out of Ralf for sure. This could hit loose and make the 4 maybe or something like this, or it can just unstack the mid and hit loose that way. I don't know. Maybe just 3 down is fine. I don't know. Yeah, it feels weird to make such a deep point in a positional game like this with 3 back, so I guess I like Ralph's idea here. What do we have here? 1-4 gets the anchor up. Exactly the kind of game you're looking for at a leading score. It's just a simple mutual holding game. Play quiet, don't lose gammons. Hope things go your way with the big set. 6-5 can make a point. It's a close enough race where maybe you should run from the 24. Interesting. No, it keeps too much contact. Has a slightly better board. Okay. That would be a difficult one for me to figure out, but clear to Ralf and XG. 6-1. So I think we're kind of sad to not have run after that for sure. I think this just continues to the 9, maximum flexibility, with a lead in the race. And we still have our midpoint link to the back checker. Why do we want to make the deuce instead? This seems like very stripped, but maybe our opponent doesn't have anywhere safe to play either. And so I'm missing this theme of like keeping maximum contact and pressure with a better board. Yeah, I'm just like, it's not the thing that jumps out to me the most in this position, which is very interesting. 2 up sees the light. 5 is going to play the ace. Nothing else going on here. Unless I'm wrong again. We could make the 4 point. Yeah, that keeps a ton of pressure. Okay, I see that. And we've got a 4 point board. There's some two duplication. Our opponent isn't that happy to hit. Too many returns. So this is a nice find. 6-3. Ouch. We're leaving a shot somewhere. Maybe a double shot. Looks very ugly. Looks like the 18 or the 13 has to go. And the 18 seems to leave the least like blots under pressure. So maybe I am going to let that one go. Look at this. We should just slot twice. Okay. And after this play, Ralf says, I've seen enough. And we have a break-even take-pass decision that Christos is just immediately going to let go of. Yeah, there's aces and threes to hit against a 4-point board. Ton of gammon threats. Slight racing lead. So if we can guess that this is up in that 28% range, then I think we can find the cube in the pass pretty easily. We're going to move on to three-way, four-way, though. 5-4 likes to split for the leading player. Ralf looking to blast away with one of the most aggressive scores here. 4 can come down to reinforce the attack. I don't think still at these kinds of scores, it doesn't make it justified to go on to the ace. We don't have enough material to be that committal. 4-1 hits back. Great response from Christos. 5-3. I guess it wants to hit again. Does it want to break the 8 to do that? Maybe not. Yeah, okay, he's just going to reinforce and leave the 4 duplicated. I like that play. They're very close. 3-2. We're ahead in the race, so we can just keep it simple and run. But instead, he's going to go for a hit. And he's right to do that, too. Wow, that's interesting. I would have found 20 to 15. 5-6. Nothing to do other than leave a double shot or hit loose and leave less shots. Double twos cannot anchor up, cannot cover, can make the 4-point. Then probably 8-6 for distribution. I like that. And a little bit better board. Ralf with many checkers back, so nothing really to think about with the cube quite yet. Gets to cover, and he can come all the way around and hit loose on the 5. I guess that's the play, yeah. And the attack is back on. Could really use a poor entry from Christos. Does not get it. 5 going to hit. The deuce can step up and try to have an advanced anchor. Things looking pretty good for Christos here with 3 back. Avoids having his blot on the 3-point hit as well. The 6 is not great. Going to split for lack of options. Doesn't want to come down into a double shot. And all the initiative with Christos here. 6-1 can point on head and board. Usually it would make the bar point on head, but I think here, instead of leaving a shot and board, why not just make the deuce and kind of go for the blitz? I don't think purity isn't as important. Oh, we can hit 2. I didn't even think about that. Wow, that's interesting. Wow, I'm surprised that would be better than just having a point and board. Gets a fan out of it. Sometimes we can send a cube here, but almost never at 3-away, 4-away. Is this like a clear pass for money? Probably, but there's like enough game where I don't know if it's going to be enough. Okay, this is actually like, it shoots on to 2 good. So this is actually pretty well timed. He finds a place where he can claim the game, where the gammon threat's so high and his wins are high along with it. This 72% slightly underneath it. If I saw these numbers on paper, I'd be a little afraid to send this cube. But Christos going to time this really well, and I think Ralf probably going to be able to see that he loses a few too many gammons to play this out. But if he thinks that he's winning more often, that he's going to anchor a lot, which I guess we can see that part too, right? It looks very difficult to establish a 22 or 20-point anchor here. The only foot down is on the 24, and he's behind so much structure. So even when he does get in, he's got a pretty weak, deep anchor game. And he can pass and go to 4-way, 2-way and have like the most fun cube score in the game. So why not just do that? All right, getting down to the wire for both these players. Could be decided this game will be often. 5-4 is going to play down. And after non-hitting, non-pointing rolls, Ralf will have a cube technically at this score already. Double threes is not one of them. Threes is going to play up and down. Maybe he could make the 5 actually, because it's still, that's like the normal score play. But interesting. And aces gets to make the prime. Looks beautiful. 6s just escapes for a beautiful race. Doesn't want to leave a shot, so he'll make the 9-point instead of the bar point. Sure. Seems good. Could make the 4-point instead, but that looks very nice to just come all the way. Looks like it's going to build very well, play a simple game, and exactly the kind of game he wants to play, where if his opponent splits, then maybe he can win an undoubled gammon for the match, and otherwise he's just trying to play and win a quiet racing game, and eventually the cube will work just like regular scores, pretty much. With a slightly, like, Ralf can take a pip or two deeper here. I think his take point, something like 17% is the dead cube take point, or the live cube take point, because he gets to recube. So 6-4 feels like he needs to go for a split. I think he's right. I think he doesn't want to be primed here and has the better board for now. And that 5 prime on the other side is very ready and scary looking. Nice find by Ralf. And Christos wants to think about sending this. I think Ralf must clearly be way above 20% in this game. So it feels pretty ambitious to try to, and you really at two-way want to send it when they have a close option to passing. So I think we're quite a bit early here. And usually, I mean, just practically, you're going to end up too good a ton of the time anyway. No need to leave shots. He's just going to make the 2 point and say, go ahead and have a bar point. We'll play that holding game. That's the kind of game I want to play. 6-1, Ralf will take it. And it looks like, I don't know what ace to play. This is funny. Since it's no longer like this prime anyway, I guess we could just play into the board or something, whatever. All of them must be close. 6-5. Oh, he's not supposed to make the anchor. That's very strange. 6-2 plays behind because he needs to keep more contact. Okay, that's a hard play to find. Score-based. Passes it up, though, and it seems they were very close ideas anyway. 4-1 is just going to play to the ace instead of clearing any landing points. Okay, yeah, sure. Still trying to keep the 5-4-3 combos to clear safely. And I don't think keeping the prime exactly is like so important anymore. Yeah, I like this. 7-6 looks nice all the time with these. Just like it's going to roll forward very well. 6-3, okay, something's going to have to go. Looks like the 9 point. And as long as Ralf has the bar point anchor, he's going to have pretty easy takes. So I think Christos is going to want to lose his market in this one before he sends any cubes. Not worth having to play for the match when it goes poorly. It's hard to get above 80% in this bar point holding game kind of situation. Unless Ralf just crashes somehow and he's still ahead in the race. I don't know. I can't think of the position. Christos looking for clearing rolls. 6-4, not the one he had in mind. Going to let the 10 go now. And now he's down to likely volunteering a shot soon. And so Ralf going to pause and think about what's my best way to get ready for that shot that's coming. Maybe he wants to, I don't know. I mean, giving up the midpoint must be okay there too. Very close. Or it felt like it would be. 5-3, I think, is good enough to run off the mid. I think we're supposed to volunteer now by reducing the shots. Wow, it's super close. Wins more for sure. But he decides to sit on the position and wait, let Ralf get rid of something. Ralf instead improves his board. I'm surprised that wasn't better. They tend to be really close to that. The 5-4 tends to like to do it. 5-2 tends to not be close enough. So I think he should not run with this one. But it's just as close. Interesting. Even though it wins less now too. So he's just going to keep as many spares on high points with the racing lead as possible. Ralf is going to look at the pip count after going, see that he's down 21 and that he needs to keep contact. So I think it's just going to be 13-3 with 2. And yeah, after he runs, being down 21 pips is actually enough to cash this. That's interesting. Okay. So he can end up making the difference between having a playable position and a double pass here. I think he'll figure this out, though. Yeah, switching to the ace preemptively, I'm kind of curious about this. Pretty close idea. Keep some contact with the midpoint, I guess, but yeah, playing checkers deep to the 3-point like this is not good long-term by any means. Puts us close to cracking. Things like that. Not good for the racing distribution. Hard to use those to close out the ace since only 2s get there. Oh. 6-5 is just going to release the 8-point, I do believe. And what does he get in response? Yeah, no cubes until our market is lost here, I don't think. Now he either has to create, I think just running off the 18, if our opponent hits with a 6, we're getting returns anyway, so who really cares? I'd rather do that than break my board. And, oh, we can get even more contact. These are so much fun. My alarm bells are going off now to try to find the maximum contact play in these spots with blots behind after I saw some interesting bar point situations in like Ryan Rebello's match and some other ones I've commentated since. But this is very nice to like easy to miss this one and pass it up. Doesn't actually win that more. It just wins more gammons. Wow. So it's like not even, this is like not really a normal score play. Yeah, it is. It wins a couple percent more. Misses out on a little extra contact. The 6 is going to be forced to hit and cover. And is there any reason for Ralf to cube from the roof here? I don't think so. Not going to win. He could win a gammon. He has a little time to pick it up. But I mean, what else do we have with this play? We don't really have any gammon canceling event impact if Ralf like cubes it too. Pauses to think about whether he wants to pick up or not. So yeah, as an underdog, we end up just, I mean, we don't win that many gammons we're not saving that many. So we just give our opponent like a fairly comfortable chance to sit and maybe win the match. And then when this game doesn't go well, then they get to a 50-50 two-way too often. So not the best place to send it. Ralf going to get lucky enough to hit though and gain one more point on the board most likely. Not closed out yet. So does he want to hop out and leave the ace-6 and the ace-3? I think so, just because it wins more gammons. He really wants to pick that checker up and be in direct range. But actually, you should clean up. Yeah, they're all very close. Interesting. Ace-4 is going to get by, and so we're just going to claim this game. No more gammons to play for. I think the 12-pip deficit is too much. He's getting attacked too often. Has to enter and escape somehow, and yeah. Just dead. No winning chances to play for, but not too good because there just aren't really any gammons here either. We're going to move on to two-way, three-way. A little bit less sensitive. But I've been looking at all the sequences where after like an opening 3-1 and our opponent splits or something, we have cubes at this score. See if Ralf gets into one of those. Nope. Not with an ace. He's not going to. His opponent's going to get the 3-1 to open. It's not good news. 6-4 is supposed to run after our opponent makes a priming point. I think I would still do that at this score, but we should actually split here for a little bit extra contact. Interesting. Making the 2, though, I mean, it's better at this score, but it tends to not be the right game plan idea to make a deep point and commit to this when our opponent's got like a nice priming point. It's like the worst time to commit checkers deep like this. 3s can advance pass. I don't think it needs to, though. Let's just make the 7. Have a winning position that way. Wow. He actually is supposed to. Okay, so he's going to correctly see that I would play for the offense for sure. But it saves enough gammons to be worth it, even though it wins the most games to play 13-7. Very interesting. Some tricky score plays. 5-4 looks like 2 down for lack of options. It'd be really hard to find a cube here, but if he can get to a normal endgame, Ralf actually has to pass a little bit earlier. 4-5 can just try to run. Sure. 25% take point, which is a pip or 2 higher than usual. 3 is going to hit. Is it? Because the 6 is pretty bad after that. Maybe we should just make the 3 point. Oh, we can slot a better point, though. Okay. We could split and slot, too. These are all interesting options. I might find this quiet play. This is a tough one to find for me. If our opponent gets full freedom with this prime, though, I guess, and we're not priming, like we need the attack to work somehow. So I guess it's committing to the tempos or something to make sure our opponent doesn't improve when they have such a good structural advantage. Must just be a situation where you have to go for a little bit more. Oh. Nice find, Ralf. And he gets a fan out of it. Wow. And this is still, even at 3-way, 2-way, I think this is nothing. 2 checkers. I don't think we can possibly be winning this game yet behind the 4 prime. We are winning some gammons, but I have seen Ralf send some like pretty early ones like this too, just on the gammon threat. Not afraid to do it. 4 can cover and make the 5 point. Oh yeah, we got all the checkers in the right spots for that. Beautiful. And now this one is an interesting cube to send on a fan. This should be quite confusing because clearly Christos is winning this game a lot, but when it doesn't go his way, he's losing a lot of gammons. I would expect he still has to play this out. But wow, look at this. 58% wins with 37% gammon sky high. Ralf is going to find this easily on the threat, I think. But can Christos figure out to pass this? I don't know. depends how strong he weighs. Like, Ralph's position is pretty overrun here. 2 checkers back on the 24 and not a lot of room to escape them. So just entering on the 24 even can make a lot of winning counterplay. Oh, Ralph's going to roll past it, though, and miss the opportunity. This could have been like a match-winning kind of sequence here. Could have gotten a pass out of Christos, or a take out of Christos. You never know. And if this turns into a gammon, I guess, like, as this position gets a lot better, it can get too good, and then he just goes to Crawford instead. 3-1. Yeah, gets the anchor high and hit. Okay, send a third checker back. This is now... Okay, did he think he was too good? Because this has gotten shy now by quite a bit, and he ends up with an easy take. Yeah, okay. Very interesting. 1-5 is going to enter and hit loose. I like it. Oh, thanks for joining us, WP. I don't know what that stands for. 6-1. Gets it can't cover the 3. Doesn't want to hit loose on the ace, or probably just mobility hopping out. I like this. Just make a positional play. I like the split with it too, but XG slightly prefers just getting a little bit further. Maybe for some duplication idea. I don't really know. He's going to take some time to think about it, though. It doesn't look like their clock's on because it's not tipping. I think that happened a lot last match, too. Might be forgetting to start it. Oh, well, a little bonus time for the semifinals. Both players agree to it. Who's it hurt? Seems to help Ralf the most, though, with more time on the clock. I don't think he's ever thinking about lifting, is he? Switching is a thing. All right. Let's see how Christos does from the bar. A lot riding on this game. Could easily decide the match here. Very likely that if Ralf wins, he'll win a gammon. Very likely, of course, if Christos wins, he wins the match regardless. 6-2. This time we get to cover. And what should the 6 do? Probably just come around the bend. I don't think picking up the extra checker is as important as keeping mobility. But I guess 8 to deuce has some merit. I don't know. I don't think we want the ace to hit. Can step up with aces anyway. Feels pretty weak. Really doesn't want to let his opponent make that 24 point, though. That's fair. That's a definite concern. But this 16 to 10 gets good outfield coverage, gets a checker to freedom, gives him something to work with when his opponent enters 2. Gives him a little space in the position. Taking his time with this one, too, though. Wants to make sure he gets everything out of the position. They've rewound it incorrectly. Yeah, this is start. Good memory from one of them. Trying to explain that this is definitely where the position started. That stuff happens deep in the tournament, though. Just exhausting to play this much backgammon. Like I was sharing, I think this is probably match 7 for Ralf. Could easily be something similar for Christos. Christos seems sharp, though. Yeah, the 2's covering for sure, and the question is the 6. That's always been the dilemma. Oh, notices the clock isn't running on him at all. Probably time to check that and how much time am I really going to spend on this play. Oh, I have infinite time. I'm surprised he's like feeling so in the blender about this. It looks... I'm not sure I see why he's so worried about coming around to the 10. I mean, I guess he's worried about his opponent rolling an ace. Is The only other thing I can think of is that he would be considering hitting on the ace like this just to make sure there's no like immediate tempo gain or something like that. But yeah, okay. Gonna end up making the best play. Gets another fan, and what is the 6-2 gonna do? Still not gonna hit on the ace. Really wants to prevent that anchor, but can't. So I think the best thing to do is to get maximum mobility. Maybe that is, I think I'm running from the 23. Because then I have more ways to get up to the edge. More numbers that step up to escape later. A little closer to freedom. One of them's running for sure, though. I feel like Ralf is like out of brain fuel, crashing or something. He's been playing too long. Because something is like, this should be a relatively, I feel like this is a relatively straightforward decision, but he's like spending a lot of clock time on it. Maybe, I mean, he is the type of player that'll spend some extra time figuring out which one to run if it, you know, if he thinks he can figure something like that out. So I guess just the existence of two close plays is enough. But he must see that like he has to run with one of them, I expect. I can't imagine what other like play B he'd be thinking about here. And he decides he wants to go from the back instead. Okay. Or wants to look at it anyway. Finds the best. Marginal and small, but, you know, always good to do anyway. 2-1. Oh, this is huge. Enters and hits. Okay, so the wins are back on for Christos. He's survived the onslaught. Has a lot of work to do still to turn this around. Ralf just entering high and trying to escape before he crashes. Christos trying to keep those checkers pinned. What can he do is follow up here. 4-3, I think, is just going to have to leave a bunch of shots by hitting. What else can we do? We could play 2 down and leave 5 out anyway. Oh, this is a way to do it. This is interesting. I was thinking of just pointing on the 4. This is less blots, though. 1-5 is going to enter and hop out. 2 down was best there. That's interesting. Okay. No hit. Let's see if we can get that checker back in the mix again. 4-2. It can. Really doesn't want to be gammoned. So I guess we can't avoid leaving a direct shot anyway. So this is most structurally advantaged. I like that. 4-2. Gets to hit but can't enter high if it does it. Neither are at the edge. I think it's worth it. I guess we could just get 2 up to the edge and try to escape and focus on that instead, though. That's very interesting. Must win more gammons to go this way. Wow. But yeah. He's just so out of time on the other side that he's right to pause here and think about just coming up with 2. It just wins that much more. That's a tricky play to find, but one of these common kind of ideas in a priming battle where like the biggest liability to his position is cracking, and his opponent has way better time than him, so he needs to be at the edge to escape. All right, he's going to go for the gammon and match-winning play, though. We'll see if it works out for him. Ace-4 is going to enter. He's happy with his opponent in, for sure. Wants them having to play and crack their position. Otherwise, all the pressure's on him to step up to the edge. 2-1 can anchor. Does it want more flexibility instead? Is the question. It's only 6s out that way. I think it prevents the onslaught, this like little mountain of checkers from doing anything there. But yeah, very close ideas. Of course, we don't really care about being attacked that much and losing, because usually the big threat with that is losing a gammon. Very close, but we don't care about gammons now. The cube's on 2 at 2 away. 4-1 gets to clean up. Christos happy to make progress around and just lose less gammons here too. 1-3 I think is just going to clean up 10-6, makes his 5' really robust. Why does he want to do this right now? If he didn't last time, this seems like a much worse time to do it. But he's going to find the split in 6-3 now. Very interesting. I don't understand that one. 6-1 is happy to hop out. I was going to let his opponent do that, so he covers the 6-1 at least. And now what should the ace do? Wow, this is a tough one. Seems like a ton more gammons to get a blot involved, so I would just reduce and move forward, I guess. But 5-4. It just wins enough more at the cost of quite a few gammons too. That is a difficult play to make against a 5-point board at a gammon save type of score. I would probably find what he did there too. But we still lose a ton of gammons this way is the issue. So many at stake either way. Yeah, I agree in the chat. Ralf playing really sharp stuff. Super strong player. 6-5 gets both out. Oh, huge roll for Ralf. Back to threatening the gammon on this 2 cube. 4-3 fans, hoping that his opponent stays on the roof now so that he can't get those checkers inside and potentially escape with a 6. One of these wants to come in, I think, but he plays both from the back instead. Okay, fair enough. I would love to put that on the 6 or the 5. But okay, he's going to maybe maximize his coverage potential with 6s this way. 6-5 looks like coming into the 6 from the 12. And the 8 to the 3 is a little bit awkward is the only thing. Leaving fly shots not so bad at this moment with the Blotten board. But I mean, we kind of like to be back on the 14 just in case our opponent rolls a 6 to hassle it. Maybe being on the 12 is better for that, actually. Since our opponent can hop out with the 6 and then just stay there and only leave 7s to hit. So maybe we could play in all the way from the back. That'd be an interesting play, too. Oh, 14 to 9, 8 to 2 would be an interesting way to do it, too. Stay back a little bit further. But, yeah, we just can't afford to keep the contact of leaving the 12-point blot there is the theme of this position. And no big difference what we choose with the 5 after that. Okay. And 6 is pretty nice for Christos, though the 6-1 and 6-2 are a little scary. 3-1, sure, just make the point twice. Or I guess we could slot the 3. Yeah, that would have been better, I think. Slot the 3 of the 6 and cover with the ace. This looks like 2 in. Leaves an inner gap. So a little bit of liability, and Christos has the board to punish. 6-4 is a huge shot to save a bunch of gammons, too. Okay. So he's looking like he's going to have a lot of ways to at least get to a Crawford game, even when this goes completely wrong. Ralf forced to clear the 5-point early. So a little bit extra structural liability. 4 down and ace in. So he starts to focus on saving the gammon the natural way. Is that going to be correct here? I would think that he kind of needs to hit a shot. 1-2 is going to take a checker off. 3-2 can bring 2 in. He's going to go for that and give up more structure here. Okay. 6-4. Yeah, it's hard to count with crossovers and stuff how likely the gammon is, but our opponent has to take 12 checkers off, which is going to be kind of slow. We still have 1, 2, 8. It seems like we have less crossovers, but maybe they're bigger ones. So now he's starting to feel comfortable making a little bit board improvement. Gonna mix it up there. I like these like little bit of both kind of plays if they develop nice enough. 3 off. And the 1 is gonna probably play 4 to 3 and get ready to clear. I don't think there's any double shot disasters here. Double 3s. Gets to improve the board anyway now. Even after he played safe to save the gammon. It all transposes in the end. And he ends up with this beautiful 5-point board to be ready for a shot as well. What does Ralf have? A 3-1 is maximum inflexibility. Shot coming next time very often. And 6-3 is forced to run 1. I think he's just going to go all the way. Covering the ace, not so important. Gammon saving pips are huge. And gives some options for Ralf, at least with his weaker rolls. And 5-3, shot lever for sure. Gets the cleanup from the rear though. Would have been frozen there and just like peeling a checker with the 3 or coming off 6-3, something like that. If his opponent hadn't had to run off the anchor. And an ace to save it. 4-2 is going to fan. There's a few gammons here. Ralf needs some luck though. Something like small numbers to cover and take checkers off. Oh, how aggressive can he go for this? Yeah, he's definitely taking 1 off. And then the normal play is to clear the 4. But is it urgent enough to go for the gammon to get a whole roll closer? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Doesn't... what is this other play? We could just leave the blot on the ace and take 4 off. That's a fun way to do it. Okay, big mistake to go for this, though. Yeah, so he makes the normal play. 5 in, 3 around. A few more chances at the gammon, but most likely going to 1 away, 2 away Crawford. Five, 1. Still needs at least 2 rolls to do it. Christos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crossovers. Oh, that's going to help a lot. Waste 2 pips coming in, too. I don't know if he needed to do that, but maybe. Maybe it's okay. 5, 3, all but saved with that 16 pips. That was pretty huge. 5, 4, gonna resign a single. And the Ralf Jonas show continues. 1 away, 2 away, Crawford lead. So 2 away. If Christos can win a gammon on this game, he wins the match. If he wins the game, he goes to a 50-50 DMP game. So gammon's just as valuable as winning in match equity, 50% each. So he's going to play very aggressively for a gammon, and Ralf is going to have to do his best to prevent one. This is the true gammon go and gammon save score. Finds Crawford on the sheet. Well done. 6-3. No changes to checker play to win more gammons, though. Just at the 6-3 anyway. Just the split. The 4-2 I think still wants to hit. There are some small ones where we would choose the split or slot based on the score, so for sure we're hitting here. Sometimes just making the anchor can be better with some early rolls too. Ralf really happy to have an anchor in this game. Can establish the 21 point early and fend off a lot of those gammons. Yeah, I agree in the chat. Ralf playing really strong, but we're actually seeing a really good game from Christos too. Very strong. Maybe some of his bigger ones were like cashing 2 good positions or something like that. But generally has had the right idea in this match and doing really well and given Ralf a really tough run for it. Still very much in this match. Strong winning chances. Close race. He's going to step up and distract and try to escape. Okay. Provocative against that mountain to be certain, but we can't just sit back and end up behind a 4 prime either. And the magic die thrown off the table somewhere. Trying to figure out, maybe it landed in my bag here. I don't know. Maybe Ralf found it. What does Ralf have? 5-2. I think, well, he wants to save a gammon so it's less clear, but I guess, I don't know where our 5 is either. This is a weird roll already. I mean, I want the deuce to hit, but what 5 then? I'm confused. He should just play 2 checkers behind instead. That's a fun one. Maybe this is like the normal score play too, just for lack of options. I mean, our follow-up's really good. We hate letting our opponent just escape, but we still have a solid 21 point game, you know? It looks like some sort of 7-5 hit is going to win more. So at DMP, but at gammon save, we can't do stuff like this. And it looks like he knows this. What's he going to do? He's going to step up with the deuce and play the 5 behind. Okay. And a 5-3 is just going to, I think it's going to escape, but it can make the 5 point too. Wow. That's quite the dilemma. Our opponent is not poised to attack us anymore either. So I think maybe I just make the 5 point. Maybe that's okay. Oh, we should point behind? What? Wow, I never even really thought of that. The 13 to 10 is pretty weak with it. Or just the 20 all the way to the 12. Very interesting. Yeah, it looks like it always wins more to go for pointing on head here. Takes away a tempo that he needs to clean up an attack and everything like this too. Okay. And it's just so stripped and using the wrong checkers to make the 5 point. Doesn't matter as much against this anchor. This is tricky. I think this would fool a lot of people between these top 2 plays at least. Yeah, all candidates feel very strong. This just looks like pretty weak on distribution. We still leave a 5-6 to hit it, I guess 6-6. Well, he's going to check out the best play here, too. This is good instincts. I don't know if I would ever even look at this. I guess the tempo hit's worth quite a bit, like we said. I don't know if we want the checker to come in deeper. I'm really surprised to see that it wins so much more. The race is close, I guess, so it takes a couple pips away. Might be an important feature of it, but it just feels strange. It's not like a backgammon kind of play. Very bot kind of play, to me. First one we've seen Christos really pause and think hard about. So he seems to smell something's up in this one and that this is an important decision too. And he's going to find the best of it. Very well done. 3-1. I think we're going to enter deep. Well, of course we have to enter on the ace and then the 3 can cover. Not too bad for Ralf. No longer has the liability behind. Christos happy. Oh, 5-1 gets to make the 5-point anyway. Beautiful shot. Oh, isn't it? It's just going to run? Wow. He doesn't care about the 5-point at all. Okay. 20-14 can't be too bad. But now it's using like the best spare to do it too. We get to unstack the 6, so it feels stronger to me there. 6-5 looks stuck just stacking up the 8-point. 3-2. Ralph's position is coming together well. Contact looking good for him. And Christos pretty stiff and stacky. What can he find here? 6-1. Sure, we can make the bar point and leave some fly shots. The fly shots are strong, though. 5-4 is like a huge turnaround. Aces. Does this want to advance and see the light? Yeah, he decides he doesn't want to be primed anymore. Gets his double sixes working. Slots the next best point. We'll lose a lot less gammons there, maybe. I don't think that's a big feature of it. I think it just wins more with the close race. No reason to voluntarily prime yourself. This looks like a very smooth distribution, but I never think of playing 6-3 in positions like that either. 6 behind, 5 behind somewhere. Not Ralph's best roll here. (3-2) gets to fill in the 4-point. Beautiful improvement. Putting more pressure on that back checker. Pressing Ralf to have to step up with a 4 to avoid being gammoned. And he cannot do it. I think we're covering the 4 and the ace here. Yeah, what else do we have? And the board begins to crack. Really needs a 4 urgently. 4-4, 4-6 specifically. 6-2. Okay, that can just bring 2 builders in. Putting even more pressure on that back checker. I don't think... Oh, we could point on the ace. Are we... Just lets our opponent out, though. And helps him solve that problem of the goalkeeper. I don't think it wins enough extra gammons. I think we really like our priming value here. What does he find? The 4 is a miracle. A 6-5 is going to run off, and this could lead to some gammons now on good 5-point making rolls. Interesting that Christos could have had the 5-point much earlier. 2-1 I think is worth it. I think we're just going to win so many gammons on a closeout that we should leave the couple A6, 2-5, 2-6, and we get shots back when it happens. Double deuces. Can't anchor, so still under pressure, but gets to clean up the blot and board. So it's a little bit of help to him, but yeah, huge threats here for the match. The way this is going, 6-5 is going to make the next point in order. No shots from the bar. And Ralf really needs an ace to save a whole bunch of gammons here and avoid closeout. Can't get it. And now he's on the ropes against Christos here. I think the closeout is worth... Ooh, can't attack though yet. So the 4 in I like. Maybe we just continue to the 5 looks like good distribution. Yeah, I like that. Looks good for bear off later. No ace for Ralf, and we could have like close to 50% gammons, 40 to 50 on a successful closeout here. 4 is going to hit and try for sure, and then the 5's coming in. Yep. No ace. And it's looking like it could be the end of the Ralf Jonas show. Looking scary for him. I guess he's still like a favorite in match equity by quite a bit, since only half the time we gammon for the match and the other half the time it's 50-50. The gammons have just gone up by quite a bit. The perfect double-decker 5-off. I guess it's hard to take checkers off after this. Is one small problem with it. We're usually only going to take off one. But yeah, up to 70% to just win the match outright here. Ralf enters. That's a step towards saving. Needs to move around quickly. Not sure if that's his best path anymore or if just waiting and hitting a shot is. Only 4 rolls away from a gammon for... Okay, 6-4 is a lot of pips. That could save quite a bit. See if Ralf can salvage this. What is he? Still only saves this a third of the time. So 2/3 of the time his opponent wins. Then he wins half of the other third. It's pretty low. Down to something like under 20% match equity. Should be able to see fun things in the graph after this game. Oh, yeah. This is funny. Check that out. Small swings in this last game here. He's going to come out. 4-2 is just 2 off. No sets to threaten. 6-5 is a ton of pips. Might be having some big swings on this too. Is he a favorite to save the gammon yet with that roll? I wonder. Yeah. Now, so he must be like a small favorite in the match after whatever play he comes up with here? Let's see. XG is suggesting... I want to look at that progression. He's looking at the best of it too. Let's just pretend he did this real quick. And does that leave him as favorite in the match or not? Oh, I'm not seeing the update on the match progression. I guess he must still be like only up to 25% since he only wins half of the other games too. Okay. 6-3 is 2 off. Yep, he dove all the way up to like high 20s. 6-1 gets to hop in. 6-5 was a good roll. And a set to win the gammon outright. 6-4. Okay. Ralf with just a few misses. And we are zooming back towards 6-1 going to save it. And we're back to 50-50 after a big scare for Ralf Jonas. And we get to play a DMP game to continue on now. That's so much fun. Look at those crazy swings in the last game. So this whole way, Christos was kind of a small favorite, worked his way up to almost 80%. You know, Ralf got a lead in this game for a while. Got to that Crawford game to have this advantage in the graph for a little while. And now dead even. With a small advantage for Christos after that opening 4-1. Or 6-1. Likely just going to split. Yeah, I like that play. I think he can play 2 up against the 6-1 too, actually, as well, if it wants to. 6-4. Oh, it can slot. That's interesting. I didn't think that. Didn't realize that at DMP. 6-4 going to point on head. Okay. DMP, double match point. Gammons don't mean anything. We're just playing for wins. So the checker plays can change quite a bit at this kind of score. 4-6 just going to hop out. Even though he's down in the race, no better 6. Everything else is going to introduce a shot or a blot. 6-4 can't hit anything. So maybe it needs to provoke in the outfield itself too. 6 down and split. Okay, that seems reasonable as well. (5-1) is going to hit loose, try to regain in the race, and the 5 can come around. Okay. And yeah, so no risk really for gammons or anything in big plays like this. Can get away with quite a bit at DMP. Just need to win somehow, and if you get 1,000 checkers back and lose a gammon, who cares? Losing is losing. 5-4. So usually we'd want to anchor up in a spot like this, but it's not so clear at this score, I don't think. Maybe we need to keep our foot on the pedal or something like that. What are we doing? We're still just anchoring for the wins? Yeah. It's getting a lot closer. But so even though at most scores we could not afford to give up the extra 10% gammons of hitting loose against a better board, here it's a very close option. Anchoring still wins a little bit more to just play a long, simple game, though. Mainly because he's outboarded, I do believe. This has been an exciting match. I think we're gonna, maybe they have dinner break or something like that, because I think the second chance finals are happening scheduled at 10 p.m., which is like 2 hours from now. So we're gonna have a small break after this match, and then we'll be back with that and figure out who your other finalist is for tomorrow morning. And decides he needs a tempo of his own. That seems prudent. Can't afford to let his opponent easily cover at least. Oh, fours does everything. Covers. I think it wants to hit in the outfield, but it could make the 2.2. Why not just make the 17, though, and make progress towards home? I think he's going to find it. And big advantage for Ralf now. Big swing on that roll. Three one going to make the anchor. Sure. Oop. And 4-2 is going to make another piece of structure in front, deploying those checkers very efficiently. 6-3. Yeah, I guess the goalkeeper he doesn't really have time for, so he should come out and provoke somewhere. That seems fine to me. Could just continue as well. But no, XG likes playing on the other side. Okay. Yeah, again, these DMP plays just get different. We don't worry about like crashing and losing gammons and all these things as much. We just want to, if we're down in the race, we commit to contact, and however it goes is how it goes. Ralf wants to take the opportunity while his opponent's on the bar to clear that 17 with a racing lead. And it looks like it's going to work. Ace-6 is going to come out and provoke again. 5-3. Looks like it wants to hit. And then we can clean up 11-6 and still only have, 2 blots to deal with. Is there something safer? Wow, 13-8. So we want to really focus on making it. Wow, nice find, Ralf. Blot and board and everything like that. We can play a little bit bigger. Okay. 2-6. Cannot hit. So the 6 is finally going to come down. Or it can make the ace. Both seem fine. The blot on the ace, we want to cover it eventually anyway. All right, 5 prime secured. Then I guess we zoom our blot on the 17 closer to home. But maybe that contact's actually helping us, but only for gammons, really. I mean, we've already done enough to win this game. So we just want to get home and keep it simple. I'm not sure what this little bit of both is, but okay. Stays on 6s instead of 6-5 might be part of it. I don't know. 4-2 gets to starting points. Oh, he's actually going to start putting blots in front, too, to see if he can get more behind and establish a back game. I like this idea. He's got to come up with something to win, and currently he's just 5 primed and pretty dead in the race, too. So what can it hurt to maybe get another checker sent back? I think this is a good idea. 6-3 is just going to come home. Ralf ready to keep it simple. Ace deuce. If that's his plan, then he needs to be careful about covering the ace and the 3. Maybe he still has a chance to get them recirculated. So maybe that's why he played 13-7. And just making the 5 point, though, of course we want the strong, the pure points. So that's going to be an asset. 4-2. Ralf with no need to hit yet. Can just play in, quiet. Double 4s is too fast. Going to cover the 3 and just shuffle forward until we're in board. Okay. He can preserve this, though, and getting back in the race, too. So if he can get an ace to step up, maybe he can just get a checker moving that way. 6-4 could hit in the outfield, too. That wouldn't be so bad. Would be a path back into it. 4-3 gets the slot and cover the ace finally. Okay. New plan. Not going backwards anymore. Now we got to go forward somehow. It's going to be tough, though. 5-3, I think, should just clean up. Good distribution. Looking to point behind, maybe. And is ready if a 6 gets forced off without the ace, too. Is that a 6-2? Uh-oh. Well, the 2 gets to cover. But that's a bit scary. It opens up for Ralf to establish a 6 prime. Can't do it, though. Is it worth making the 3 and giving up the 2, 5, 1, 6, and 1, 5 against a closed board when we're ahead in the race and we could just make the ace and defer? Usually that would help us win a bunch of gammons and things like that, but it's not really clear here. Maybe we should just play quiet behind. Hello, Ablahalim. Ablalim. I'm going with that. Yeah, classic DMP stuff. We give up on so many gammons to not do this. Nice find, Ralf. Double 3s. Just comes around. So we can still escape to a winning race. There's some hope here. 5-3 is going to safely make the point at the edge. Very nice roll for Ralf. But he's going to have a hard time making the deuce point now without leaving some shots. Ace-3. Christos can't make it either. Not sure if he preferred to come in and crack or not. 4-1, I guess, is just going to clear a point safely somehow. I don't know which one. It's more builders if we clear the 7, so that seems strong. And 5-6. Another fan. What does he get here? 5-2 is not going to close out yet, so we're just clearing the 8. Playing quiet. And playing against a phantom deuce game right now if he can't make it. And I think Christos not getting pointed on and just sitting on the roof here is actually like pretty strong strategy. I think the 4's got to come off. I don't see us hitting. And then I think the 3 can come off too. It's getting a little bit awkward though. A little over 10% for Christos here. Can just hop in and out. And still going to keep that single checker contact. The 4 I think just has to clear the 4 now. Still don't think we want to attack until our opponent cracks here. And Ralf finding an awkward ride home here. Still a big favorite, but things are looking a little scarier than they did before. 3s is maybe too fast. Oh, he could save a 6 outside by playing 4 to ace. Maybe that's important to do there, actually. Doesn't want to be forced to run off the contact, and it's coming soon, so he is just saving that 1 roll should be enough. Good find for him. 5-5, that's going to solve a lot of problems. 2 of those are going to the ace, and then are we taking 2 checkers off and hoping our opponent just leaves, or playing for more safety? I'm not super clear on this one. Difficult decision since it's still going to leave plenty of shot levers, but Ralph's just going to go through and count it right now and look at all the rolls, see what the follow-up is, and decide if it's worth the extra checkers. And yeah, the clearing play makes a lot of sense. They must reduce shots somehow. Question is just by how much, and I guess he determined by enough. And 5-1 is easily going to get to stay. Last chance for a shot, maybe. 6-3 is one. I think hitting and trying to get our opponent to enter in higher is more important than taking a checker off here. It's going to reduce shots as well. So he's going to go for it. And the whole match for a 2. Big favorite. Goes up to 80% when he hits it. And cannot do it. Is going to enter and pop out. And it looks like it is the Ralf Jonas show still. Moving on most likely to the second chance finals, which will happen in a couple hours here. What a run for him. It's been fun to see him on stream this much. That'll make 5 consecutive matches with Ralf Jonas. That's a lot of fun. See if he can make it 6. Excited to see who his opponent is too. I think this is dead. But a really well played match by Christos too. Exciting stuff. Huge swings in this one. He's going to let it go. And there you have it. Ralf Jonas advancing. Super strong play as always from him. Down to his A game at a 2.5 there. I could average the game matches that I have, but it's been a 2, a 3, a 3.5, and a 2.5. That is top of the world kind of stuff from Ralf that we're seeing this weekend. Tough to play any better than that. So we can pop over to the screen here. But yeah. So Ralf gonna advance to the finals, which will take place in about an hour and 45 minutes from now. I'm your host, Nick. And we were looking at that prize pool, so don't feel too bad for Christos. He's going to walk home with something there. If we look at this, he walks away with the 4th, 5th prize. Then we move on to bigger chunks. The loser of the second chance finals will take home that 3rd place money, and we can see some big chumps in payouts happening from here. So yeah, join me again tonight for the conclusion of the second chance bracket, and then tomorrow morning for the grand finals. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon, and bye for now, everybody. Congratulations to Ralf Jonas advancing.